Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Leo energy, and like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row's what we refer to as like a higher vibrational Leo energy, and the bottom row we refer to as a more worldly, shadowy nature. We've all got a dualistic nature. Our high vibe might not be as high vibe as some other people. Our low vibe isn't as low vibe as some other people. But everyone kind of has their light and shadow nature. And everybody's learned some lessons in life. Some people have curbed their more immature, selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical nature better than some others. And hopefully they've learned that the best policy is to maybe treat other people the way you like to be treated. And kind of helps make the world go round. And, you can be proud of yourself. So, anyway, we're going to look at this from a couple different perspectives. We've all got free will. We have to debate within ourselves. Are we kind of going to have some hope and faith and belief and love? Or do we kind of give in to just maybe wanting to feel better? And we might indulge in some things that really aren't moving our life forward in a positive way. And we could keep repeating the same old pattern over and over and over again. There's always going to be some people in the world who are moving forward in life differently. They've healed, they've grown, they've matured, they've looked at life from a higher perspective, have some hope and faith and belief in their dreams, and they're not willing to keep repeating an old pattern. You know, it's kind of like shedding layers of our worldly nature as we grow up, just like we did age 15, age 18, age 21, age 25. And I think we're meant to do that throughout our life, to grow to our full potential. To be more independent of the things that manipulate us, more independent of our more immature egoic nature and letting the world and other things in the world manipulate us. It's to be free, wanting to be with other people who are free, who treat other people with respect for being their own individual. Not trying to control and manipulate people. So we all tap into Leo energy. If you harness high vibe Leo energy, hope and faith and belief and love, a higher truth and justice, then you probably like to hang out with some other people who are like that. But some people are more driven and motivated by the world, by themselves, by ego, by indulgence, by money and materialism. And we just need to see the truth of it. Accept that everybody's got free will to live their life the way they want. And if they live their life and choose to act in certain ways and in relationships that we don't like, we wish them peace and we move on. Kind of like Jesus and the disciples spreading the good news. People who aren't open and receptive to it, you wish them peace and you move on. What is the reason for the reading in the high vibro? It's called Delta Bad Hand, which is also the reason for the reading coming out. We all have things that happen to us that we don't like, some people much worse than others. We can all get in our pride and ego about it, or we can learn lessons in life, grow and heal and mature ourselves so that we can free ourselves from it, right? And some people do, some people don't. Some of you have done that work within yourself to free yourself, and some people in your life didn't, and maybe never will. But we all heal and grow and mature ourselves at different periods of time. Let's take a quick look at the top row. The gods favor you, discovery, resurrection, and missing you. So, I kind of think we came here with free will, the knowledge of the seeds of the tree of good and evil planted within us. They battle within us to be in control of our life, but we have free will to choose which thoughts, which emotions, which actions to take in our life. And I think when we take action in truth and love and justice and fairness and not planting our life in bad soil like pettiness and envy and jealousy and greed and selfishness like that, I think we're in God's favor. We're in going with the flow of life. Discovery that I think there's life-giving energy in the world represented by God, shadowy energy represented by the devil. There are forces in this world that work with us to try to manifest our dreams into reality, and there's forces in this world that try to stop us from manifesting our dreams into reality. It happens within us. We can listen to our more hopeful, believing, creative, encouraging, loving nature, or we can belittle and berate ourselves. And then we have all those different types of people to align with in the world. Which ones are we going to align with? And I think when we align with our high vibe nature and we listen to our intuition and appreciate, the discovery card could even be just appreciating, that we're not just an animal, we're just not a computer. Other people might act like an animal, might act like a computer, but we were given unique talent, skills, and interest and the gift of intuition to help us guide us in this life. And when we're going with the flow of the universe, kind of like in tune, playing the same beat and rhythm and tune of life-giving energy, which is love and peace and moderation and self-discipline and joy, I think we're playing in tune with the universe. And then I think that life-giving energy works together with us. And the resurrection card, it can transform our whole life. And we can give birth to a new life. And it's kind of like the missing you card could getting back in connection with loving and believing yourself. When we were in our shadow energy and caught up in these things of the world that we thought would make us happy, we were looking outside of ourselves. I'm looking to the drugs or the booze or relationships or the world to validate my worth and value and love me. The truth is, we were meant to learn to love ourselves. Offer ourselves love, compassion, forgiveness for the mistakes we've made. Offer love and compassion, forgiveness to others, so it no longer has a hold on us and we're free to move forward. And that's like kind of making friends with ourselves again, learning to be our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. And as we're doing that in our life and being a good leader in the world, there's other people, because I think high vibe people aren't in competition with other people. Hoping other people heal, hope other people believe in themselves and believe in their dreams, hope other people grow up and mature themselves and learn to have some self-discipline within themselves, and we offer them love and encouragement. Doesn't mean we got to date them, doesn't mean we got to marry them. We just treat other people with love and respect and encourage other people to love and believe in themselves, and maybe they would start to do this work within themselves and they would be able to give birth to a new them, get out of their fears, their insecurities, their self-limiting beliefs, and realize they maybe miss having people in their life too that are loving and encouraging and supportive, because we have all these lessons to learn in life, and we get in these relationships with people to help us get clear about what our truth is. And we can get in some situations that are really hard to get ourselves out of because, when we get a job, a friend, or a romantic relationship, we would really like those things to work instead of having to go get a different one, right? And so because of our kind of codependent nature and because we've put in work and effort and we have hope and faith and belief in this dream, even in the face of someone not being just and fair and acting with character and integrity or love, it can be hard to get ourselves out of some situations. And I think if we listen to our intuition, I think in a world of duality, if we're in relationships with people and they seem to be creating a little hell on earth, I think that means God's creating a little heaven on earth somewhere else. Are we going to listen to our intuition and leave? We have free will to stay in hell. That can be in our own mind. We can belittle and berate ourselves all day. There'd be a whole bunch of people who'd probably join in the chorus. Or, I don't control anyone else and how they choose to act in the world, but I can choose in me and my free will. I I'm not going to treat myself that way. It's kind of like being a child of the divine. I deserve to be my own best mother, father, coach voice and treat myself with love and compassion and forgiveness. Because we all thrive best in the energy of love, right? But I think the hardest lesson to learn in life probably is to love yourself authentically instead of kind of in our more indulgent, egoic nature. Let's go look at the bottom row. We have unspoken love. So, I guess it kind of makes me think of kind of like a Five of Cups energy, where we're focused on the things of the past that didn't work out, where we're focused on looking to the past and all the different people in our life that didn't work cooperatively with us in love. But we have the free will to offer love, because love is the answer. We offer love to it, to make peace with it, to work through it, see the truth of it. Everybody is where they're at. Other people have things that manipulate and control them that they haven't freed themselves from. You know, it's kind of where they're at in life. Just like different people's maturity levels, you know, they are where they're at. You know, just like as we look at ourselves during different stages of our life, our maturity level, how we view the world, you know. We've all been immature. We've all rejected loving people. Haven't loved ourselves. Abused things to make ourselves probably feel better. But we have the free will choice to turn and look to the future, which is the Two of Cups. I can't change the past. I can't change other people. The only thing I can do is offer love and peace to the situation for me to be at a place of peace about it so that I can move forward. The truth sets us free. I need to see the truth of how I contributed, and I need to see the truth about some other people in my life and how they contributed. And there's some people in the world, though, that they've been hurt before. They don't want to do love anymore. And people who are motivated and inspired by love, that can be really hard to understand. Well, why wouldn't people do love? And if I get in a relationship, even if they're defensive to love, you know, I'm sure they're going to choose love. No. You can get hurt doing love. And until people have done the work within themselves to be open to maybe believe they could pick themselves back up. If they were really to be open to love, and there's no guarantees, we don't know if things are going to work out the way we want or not. High vibe Leo is, though, I believe I can give myself the things that I wish other people can give me, and I can deal with the truth of the situation, not get caught up in my ego of taking it so personally. People who are open to giving love, give love. People who learn to be just and fair are just and fair. People who have learned to act with character and integrity and have self-discipline do. And people who don't. You know, and there's all of these little things that we can get in relationships with people, and we can even be in relationships with them for a long time. It can be family members, friends, romantic interests. And we can get along for a long time, but when it kind of really gets down to where it has to be at a core foundational level, what is your truth? There could have been a lot of other things we could have compromised on that we were willing and able to work with, but eventually it can get down to that core foundational truth. In your free will, what do you choose? Do you have hope and faith and belief in love and willing to do love? Or not. And that sometimes that can be the stumbling block for people. That's just something I can't do. I cannot let my more emotionally vulnerable, authentic nature out to play in the world. It's like having your inner child nature of hope and faith and belief and telling it, no, you can't go out and play, honey. You could get hurt out there. And so they never let it out to play in the world. And of course, if it never goes out in the world to learn lessons and trip and fall and scrape its knee and pick itself back up again, some people have no experience in even hardly being authentically themselves, because we all know kind of, well, maybe not everybody, but, you know, a lot of early life, junior high, high school, and young adulthood, you know, we're always so worried about what other people think of us that we're kind of even disconnected from our true self because we are trying to fit in and have people like us and kind of conforming to the world. And that's why it can take a long time for people to really be in high vibe Leo energy, willing to more have learned these lessons in life to be more authentically themselves. And when sometimes in a relationship, when we have healed from some of that past pain and heartbreak and self-learning beliefs, and we are ready to move forward more authentically in life, that can be when a relationship ends. Because you've changed. You did for yourself from some things that manipulated you that some other people haven't. Some of those people will wish you peace. Some of those people will want revenge on you. But there can be a part of us that would like to not detach from some people or things in our life that we have to detach from. There might be things we love. There's a lot of things we can love and like to indulge in the world that we just don't indulge in anymore. There can be people in our life that we love that I'm not going to hang around them anymore. If I have to see them at Thanksgiving or Christmas, I will. But other than that, we don't. If people have been behaving poorly, rude, disrespectful, abusive, it's like, no. I chose to love myself and stand up for myself, and I might have been dealt a bad hand. It doesn't mean I have to keep holding on to it. I can fold. Put my cards on the table. You win. You're just going to have to play with someone else from now on because I'm leaving. What do we have in the bottom row? Choices. Ancestral karma. Overflow. Old wounds. Losing battle. And potential. So, we've made choices in life. Other people have made choices in life. I think we're drawn and attracted to people because we have lessons learned from them. And sometimes it's because we haven't learned to love ourselves. It's kind of like, okay, sorry, this person hasn't learned to love and believe in themselves. The door to shadow must open. No control over who's going to come through the door. Sorry, you might just have some fears and insecurities and haven't learned to love yourself, but we have no control when the door to shadow comes in to teach you lessons. You're going to have to listen to your intuition, and who knows how bad it'll get. Who knows who will come through that door. If we haven't learned to listen to our intuition and love ourselves and stand up for ourselves, and when someone acts like an ass, later, and you leave. How many times growing up did we put up with people over and over and over again? Because we really didn't want to ruffle people's feathers. We didn't really want to rock the boat. We wanted to be in a relationship and, extending people much more grace than they deserve. But that could have been the whole reason we were drawn and attracted to people. You have some lessons to learn about loving and believing in yourself and treating yourself with respect and love and thinking you deserve it. And you have some lessons of your own to learn. And to realize that from all these life experiences, I hope nobody's experienced some terrible ones, but, there's bad people in the world. There's selfish people in the world. There's greedy, prideful, vengeful, abusive people in the world. And if God's going to give us our divine inheritance, we have to be able to tell the difference between people. We can't be as naive and gullible as we could have been when we were young. So the ancestral karma is kind of being drawn and attracted to people to try to get us to see the truth of what patterns we're repeating. We all like to stay in our comfort zone. Sometimes our comfort zone is to be in relationships with people who don't treat us very nicely because we're not used to being treated nicely, or we're used to kind of indulging people in their pride or their ego or their abusive ways or whatever. And until we see that we keep repeating a pattern, we'll keep repeating it. Then we have the overflow card, which is like the overflow of emotions. A person can be a very loving person love is supposed to be just and fair. And sometimes people go out on the edge, but I love them. And it drives their whole life off into the ditch. You know, in tarot, we have the heart and the mind and the 3D world and the creative, passionate, like intuitive nature. We got lessons to learn in all four suits of those deck, of all suits of the deck. A big one we can relate to is, oh my gosh, I love them. And the other aspects of our life go in the toilet because the most important thing is I love them. Well, that's imbalance. All aspects of ourself deserve to be respected, but initially we don't think those things are most important. The most important thing is I love them. And we go off the edge of the cliff, learning some difficult lessons about that. Other people could be very defensive and guarded, living more from their mind and their heart. No, 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 I must keep everyone away. And they kind of go off the edge in that and realize, but I'm not getting my emotional needs met. I don't have people working together with me cooperatively. I could find it hard to stay in a job, and we have to learn to work with all these gifts we've been given. All four elements. We're not supposed to be a slave to any of them. We're not supposed to be a slave to our mind and our thoughts. We're not supposed to be a slave to our emotions. We are to master our thoughts and our emotions. Learn to work with them is kind of like as if you could spit fire from your fingers and lightning from the sky. If that was what we were capable of, how many people would we have torched when we were young? We got to learn to work with these gifts we've been given. Our emotions, our thoughts, our creativity, our imagination, our lustful nature, our prideful nature, our driven, motivated, inspired nature in the 3D world. And it can be really confusing. And when some people, maybe they're going kind of over in the ditch of life, it's kind of like, I kind of think of the chariot as going down the road, and we can be over loving and overindulging of ourselves for others. That kind of drives us off into the ditch over here, or definitely indulging others or in our fear or insecurity can drive our life off into the ditch. We kind of moderation, staying within the bumper rails of life. And it can be, we could deal with some other people. The overflow talks about emotions. There's people that have, their own issues that they deal with. They could even find their own emotions so confusing. They could find the fact that they really love someone so overwhelming that I just can't stay here and I got to leave. This is, for people who haven't let their more emotionally loving nature out in the world, and it's kind of getting stirred up for some people, that can maybe bring up other issues of why they even keep their emotional nature so buried, and that can seem overwhelming. But because they could have fear of these thoughts or these emotions that could be overwhelming them, in order to stop from feeling overwhelmed in the ancestral karma, they could repeat some poor past ways of behaving that helps them maybe feel like they're not going to fall apart. Or I think we all want to stay in a place of balance within ourselves. And if that would seem like it's going to throw somebody too much out of balance and out of their comfort zone, and maybe almost feel like having a panic attack or something, they could repeat some poor past patterns of how to handle it, because they haven't maybe learned over time how to offer themselves love and compassion and forgiveness, and like talk themselves down off the edge to be able to kind of maintain balance within themselves. And they do kind of really get thrown out of balance and act in ways that are hurtful and unkind. And sometimes with the losing battle, some people, when any situations we put ourselves in life, it's going to trigger some fears and some insecurities and some self-limiting beliefs. That's part of being a human being. We have layers and layers of our more worldly, shadowy, fearful, insecure, defensive nature, right? And for some people, even being in relationships with people who are more loving and nurturing and supportive of them, it can be a contrast to what they're used to, that then it kind of brings up all these old things, the overflow and the old wounds. And some people in the losing battle kind of have a lack mentality within themselves, and then they could feel not good enough, and I made mistakes before, and maybe instead of, if we bring these things into the light, it's like the boogeyman. Well, I did this and I acted like this and these people did this and it made me feel this way. If we bring it out into the light, it's not as scary than if we don't follow the thought all the way through. Some people can really get caught up in what if, and they sabotage themselves. And we can think of all the negative things that could happen instead of the positive things that could happen. And it can stop people from reaching their potential. And all we can do is offer people love and encouragement. And it kind of reminds me of a poem. I read it, I think, this week sometime. I have 2 channels. I have another channel called I Alone Fly Tarot. But this is a poem I had on my fridge, goodness, over 10 years ago. I used to have it on a fridge in where I used to live before. It's just an excerpt of a poem, but it's a poem by Edgar A. Guest, and it's called Equipment. And it says, "Courage must come from the soul within. The man must furnish the will to win. So figure it out for yourself, my lad. You were born with all that the great have had. With your equipment they all began. So get hold of yourself and say, I can." And sometimes we kind of realize that with some people in our life. And we've kind of been there to various degrees. Maybe when we were young and we could have had friends and family members. Why are you doing that? Why are you hanging out with these people? Why are you dating these people? You have so much potential. Blah, 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 blah. But we all got to learn lessons. We all got to learn some lessons the hard way. And, sometimes we don't see our potential. And sometimes we don't appreciate what we bring to the table. And we've all got to win that battle within ourselves. And sometimes if we were in relationships with some people, we have a dream we want to bring into reality. Sometimes we can just have people that are acting, whatever degree of kind of shadowy behavior. Some people we just kind of realize over time that, and, for a long time, shadowy energy can be not wanting to see the truth, kind of staying in denial. And maybe we were dealing with some people who are a little manipulative. That can be shadowy Leo energy. A little bossy and controlling. And the whole thing is you can put up, if it's not too big and not that, everybody's to a degree has to grant some concessions with everybody else in the world, because we all got our own little quirks, and so long as things don't go too much or out of balance or whack, you can put up with it. But there too, after a while you just get tired of it. Other people, it could be worse than that, and they had the free will choice. And when we're in relationships, people have the free will choice to be truthful, to be honest, to be just, to be fair, to act with character and integrity. Sometimes we have to realize that when some people don't choose to act that way, well, for one, they have the free will choice and they choose not to act that way. And it can be to see if they can manipulate us. Because if we have given up on like loving and believing in ourselves, perfect. So you're going to stay. So basically this can get worse over time, because now I've already found out that you're not like willing to stand up for yourself, or you're putting up with this bullshit. Perfect. And some people want a relationship like that. They only want to be in a relationship with someone if they can manipulate and control them. I only want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't believe in themselves. Perfect. You're not ever going anywhere, right? Your dreams and things that you wanted to do, those can go out the window. Perfect. And some people could feel that's their dream relationship, their dream life. Look, I have someone who's not going to leave. Yes, and I think because it's nothing to be proud of, I think it gets worse and worse over time. They're feeding something kind of ugly within them. And I think because they're not proud of how they're behaving, but they don't want to see the truth of it, they blame the other people, and then they get worse and worse over time with those people. Some people are just kind of repeating an old pattern. I might love some people, but I'm not going to go be in a relationship with them because they do things different, and it could cause me this inner conflict. Because some people do think, like, if they grew up with certain people who lived their life a certain way, which could have been great and wonderful and victorious and successful in a lot of ways, maybe a little superficial and shallow, shadowy Leo energy, maybe more a little bit about ego and image and things like that, or status and how we look in the world. And then if they get in relationship with people who kind of really are more kind of like the real deal, like, wow, you're not just like talking the walk, you really walk the talk. Where some people, is that the way it goes? They kind of talk the walk, like, look what a perfect upright, stable, grounded, nurturing, loving pillar of society person I am. I shine bright in the world, and people should view me that way, and I view myself that way. And, that's their context. So they really kind of think, they are the definition of those traits and characteristics and qualities. And then they could meet someone who really is really authentic and warm and isn't trying to manipulate someone, isn't like pretentious, isn't more about the ego and image, just living life, doing things that are appropriate for certain situations and, dress for certain events, but not more for the status or the ego or the image of it. It's just like, that makes common sense that you do this. And if I'm going to go do that, I maybe do it because I really enjoy it, where they might go do things because it's good for their ego and their image. And then they see that difference between people who are kind of talking the walk versus people who really walk the talk. And then that can cause them, for these things to come up within them and all this inner conflict within them. And some people really could have a hard time letting themselves be more authentically themselves, because that's not how they view life or think is right or how they were brought up. Or it just causes them cognitive dissonance, because in their mind, it could be like saying, well, those people were wrong. We're all just learning lessons in life. It's like, oh my gosh, somebody knew how to play the piano. Oh my gosh, we thought they were a great piano player, and it worked for what we needed people to play the piano for. And then you meet someone who has a unique spin on piano, or might be a better piano player. Does that mean they're bad and they're good? It just means some people, especially talking about how people interact with people and how free and open they are to giving and receiving love and being more authentically themselves in the world. It's just that people have freed themselves from a little more things that could have manipulated some other people. But for some people, they could have a real big problem with that. And because it would maybe bring up some issues within them about what it was like maybe growing up in something like that, where it was maybe a little more superficial and shallow. Or, I don't know about you, but I know when I was raised, you could almost feel like you were equated to being a shoe being taken out in the world. Be a good shoe, honey. Be a good lamp. You kind of felt like, I don't know. It was a little more in the day where children were seen but not heard, and you didn't really maybe have close relationships or really get to know them. So it kind of felt like you were a lamp being put out on display instead of having a good enough relationship with you where you actually tell your kids and brought them up about right and wrong and not just to behave so people don't see anything. And then some of the people who are brought up like that, the whole thing is to present themselves like this picture perfect person. I don't have a shadow nature. I have never thought a bad thing, never done a bad thing. It's like staying in complete denial that people are human beings who are not perfect. So some people have a problem with that, and they're willing to let the loving people go because it causes me so many things I haven't dealt with. I just need you to go, and I might love you, but I would have all this work within me to work through. And some of those people then decided not to work through it. And for some, they would like to move forward with people. But again, the truth sets you free. And, we can't fake the next level that we are more grown and matured and healed than we are. Some people might be having a hard time faking the level they're on right now, because some people are really immature, really bratty and spoiled and egotistical and all that shit, and they're faking the level they are on right now. How do they possibly move forward in a relationship with someone and try to fake an even higher level, Eventually the floor is going to fall out and they're going to go to the bottom. With some people, we could just realize that we can get in relationships. We could even get in relationships, because some could have been listening to their intuition. Both people could have. Sometimes we can get in relationships because something else didn't work out and we're hurting. Then we could get in it and some people could feel bad and they keep trying to make the relationship work when it really isn't their truth to begin with. And then it's kind of like, do I have hope and faith and belief in my dreams? Am I going to stay in something that I don't think is quite aligned with my truth? Am I willing to love myself enough that, probably the more ideal situation would be when people know it's not my truth to get out of them and do the work within themselves when there's not another person to get in a relationship with. But a lot of times what might make us think it is maybe if there is someone else that we want to be in a relationship with, but not always. Let's go look. What's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Leo energy? What could be coming up that they don't see coming? We have a card not showing itself, and the reason is because of the Eight of Swords. Well, with the Resurrection card and missing you, there could be different people in the world, because you have free will, you might be given choice, that want to resurrect something. A friendship or a relationship of some sort with you. And it could kind of put you up in your head a little bit. It could even be something positive. With this card here, kind of remind me of the devil card. The devil can mean work. Maybe if one workplace situation didn't work out and you're looking for a new workplace situation, or someone calls you to see if you want to come back to do a job, initially it could put you up in your head, or even if you get offered a new job because just of fears or like, can I do it? Am I capable or something? Some people, if it's a romantic relationship, I think different type of people will want to be in a relationship with you, assuming you're single. Some could want to resurrect something with you because they think that you're up in a mental prison. Other people want to be in a relationship with you because they think you're harnessing this in a high vibe way. The Eight of Swords is Gemini energy of what do I pick in my free will? And they're intuitive, even though they might be scared if their intuition is right or not. But they think you're focused, you're eight swords up in your head focused on love. 2 cups of love down your heart. And they're listening to their intuition. Other people are going to try to get in a relationship because like, oh, are you up in your head about love? Perfect. Let me try to manipulate you and tempt you and indulge in a relationship with you because you're up in your head about love. And what some of those people don't know is that you've already learned a lot of life experience, and now you've learned to listen to your intuition. And some people you're not missing. And some of those people could be surprised because sometimes some people who were rude or unkind or bossy or controlling, when you finally did leave, because they're kind of a little full of themselves, they could think that of course you're in a mental prison about not being in a relationship with them. But as you've done this work within yourself, you've put an end to thinking that is someone you even want to be in a relationship, that you realize they only came into your life for you to get more clear about your truth. And the truth is, now they are not someone you want to be in a relationship with. And that could surprise them and that could surprise you. Because sometimes we really don't know if I'm completely detached from them until you see them around or something and it's like, yeah, I guess I am over that, Anyway, it has something to do with this card. The 9 of Pentacles. When a card a lot of times isn't showing itself, the 9 of Pentacles is kind of Virgo energy, Earth sign energy. Some people think that just because you're maybe single, that you're in a mental prison. But there's a lot of people who are single who aren't in a mental prison. Some of the people that are more about ego and image and indulging themselves, they might really be in a mental prison when they're single because they think it says something about them or their worth and value in their ego about if they're in a relationship or not. So they could get in relationships and they could feel overwhelmed and they haven't healed, but because they always give in to their ego and don't want to deal with their issues, they just get in relationships with other people and use other people to get in relationships. Like some people could indulge in drugs or booze to feel better. Their vice is relationships. So some people could think that you're in a mental prison, and what they don't know about you is you've become independent of them. That's what the 9 of Pentacles can talk about. I did the work within myself to love and believe in myself and appreciate what I bring to the table. And I saw through the illusions that I had about some people in my life. I thought they were like a just and fair and loving and nurturing authentic person, and I could have found out with some of them they're not. They are more superficial and shallow and bossy and controlling and egotistical, and that's kind of what drives them, motivates them, not love. And what some of those people don't know And some of the people would like to get back in a relationship with you, but they know that you're not in a mental prison about them. And that you have rejected them with that card not showing themselves. You already saw the truth that the way they harness their Virgo, Gemini, Leo energy is different than yours. Theirs is more about the world and themselves, or indulgence, or ego, or image. And you already saw the truth of what they love in the Two of Cups. What they align with was different in the Two of Cups of what you align with in your free will of how you want to live your life. And some of those people know too, because you don't take action more out of pride or ego or lust or greed or something like that, that things are probably going to go in your favor, because you're not taking like impulsive, reckless action out of pride and ego, and that you're maybe doing this work within yourself to heal. And when your intuition tells you you're ready to move forward in a new relationship, if some of you didn't get in one there already, that you're doing this work within yourself. And with the Nine of Cups also not showing itself, that you have an idea, if not a specific person, in mind of the type of person you do want to be in a relationship with. Maybe what you're trying to manifest. So, what happens when we're dealt a bad hand? Things don't work out the way we want. People go with the flow. We could all initially go into a period of shadow, or in our competitive nature, in our ego nature. We're sad, we're mad, blah, blah, blah. But high vibe people, needless, you've got to work through it. And as you're working through it, you kind of realize, am I going to give up my dreams because someone I wanted to have a just and fair relationship maybe wasn't just and fair? And maybe they were just and fair and you had lessons learned. You know, the whole thing is, either way, if it was me, that gives me more control, because I can do this work within myself. I can heal, I can grow, I can mature. If it was someone else wasn't just and fair and loving, well, my dreams couldn't come into reality with them anyway, because they're not who I thought they were. So that means my dreams are still out there. And, you know, you learn the lesson from the life experience. Some people wanted to try to deal you a bad hand. There's some people in their ego, I'm going to do this and this and this to make you not love and believe in yourself, to feel rejected. I could be the person you were in a relationship with. I don't like that you love and believe in yourself. I don't believe that you walk the talk and I just talk the walk. They also could have other people in their life who, I don't like them. Their light irritates my demons. I want them to go, make them go. And some people aren't very independent, and they don't want to become independent of whoever those people are, friends or family or something. And if those people say, I don't think you should trust that person, and try to get them up in their shadowy energy of fear and insecurity and distrustfulness and competitiveness, then those people listen to them, and, you know, the relationship ends. And some people were trying to get you in shadowy energy. And it's kind of like, if I have figured out that some people are petty or envious or jealous or superficial, shallow, you know, yeah, you're right, I don't fit in. I can be upset if there was someone in that group or that family or whatever that I wanted to be in a relationship with, but because they're not independent to live their own life, you know, it didn't work out. And basically, people wouldn't align with people if there isn't a part of them that kind of aligns with it. And it's just really those other people in their life are just kind of, I mean, they are their own real person, but it's kind of like they're a human manifestation of something that's hidden within them that we weren't seeing. And then we can see it and how people are and how people act and who people align with. And it was just like, oh, wow, I did not see that. I did. That came as a shock. I was surprised. And it just shows us that people aren't who we thought they were. And that's when we realize that people maybe didn't have our best interest, or if we would have made our life letting whatever imprisons and manipulates them or people in their life, and we let those people manipulate us or those things manipulate us, the relationship could have worked, but it's more the third party in the relationship isn't love. It's more fear, codependency, ego, image, money, indulgence, or something. And some people are like, I don't like feeling manipulated and controlled. And so long as that keeps manipulating and controlling you, I have to leave. Even though you could miss them. But we can detach ourselves from people, but then the resurrection card is like the Scorpio death card in tarot. It can take time to emotionally detach because we have these emotionally complex feelings about people, but eventually we become independent of them. Right now, with that card not showing itself, you might find that hard to believe. But at some future date, you will. And the reason is because Virgo energy is about doing this work behind the scenes. And you're doing this work behind the scenes to, pick yourself up, and then this is a picture of a person like in the nature realm, getting back connected with your true self and getting away from these influences that try to get you caught up in your head and all these thoughts about, well, you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to do that, and you're supposed to look like this, and you're supposed to act like that. It's like, you know what, you go act like that and live like that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to take some time to get reacquainted with my true self. And maybe I don't need to be in the spotlight of the world, and I don't need all the attention or blah, 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 because I maybe never derived my sense of ego from those things anyway. Because between me and God is where I derive my sense of worth and value. And some people, in a more worldly, shadowy view of life, maybe don't believe there's any higher truth or justice to aspire to, and they make their life all about their ego and their image and how they think people view them, and that is how they define their worth and value. There is no other scale to define their worth and value, because they just don't believe in anything other than the world. And that could have been the breaking point in a relationship. So it's basically like they could reach their potential in a worldly sense, but it's not like the full expression of who they could be if they were to quit. There's that Bible verse, of course, don't conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We're not meant to be slaves to things. We're meant to free ourselves from these things that manipulate us and take action in truth and love, justice, fairness, treat other people the way we like to be treated, and just go live our authentic life, kind of not get all caught up in the illusion of it. But some people are really in the thick of it. And I think they're going to find out that things are just things. We read in the paper about people who seem like they have everything they could ever want, materialistically, worldly, but not deep, meaningful, authentic relationships. And in High Vibe Gemini, you're focused on love. And you're independent of the past, and you're looking for other people who are independent. And with this card not showing itself, it could also be there's going to be someone, if not in your life already, who doesn't want to be independent of you anymore because they love you. So, what's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Leo energy that they might not see coming up. The Lovers and the Knight of Cups, because of the King of Pentacles. Well, for one thing, some of the people that were being kind of bossy or controlling or something, what they didn't see coming is that some of the people in their life, some of you already did this, for others, other people in the world are doing this, but the people decided to invest in loving themselves and believing in their dreams. Virgo energy goes within to see the truth. When someone's holding one pentacle in high vibe, it means they saw the truth. They grew, they matured, they healed. They have, in tarot, we have the pages, the knights, and the kings and the queens, and the emperor and the empress and stuff. You went from someone who was living your life, and now you've really learned a lot of lessons in life that would make you someone that people would you're very stable, grounded, nurturing, and loving that people would want to hire for jobs and go into business with and date and marry. Some of the other people knew this. For some people, that's what could have triggered up their fear and insecurities, that you'd leave to go get in a relationship with someone else. Well, they should have worked on that issue within themselves. If you were in a relationship and putting in work and effort, how differently do you act in a relationship if you think, oh my God, one day they're going to leave me? Versus, why would I think that? And, what do I think I bring to the table? And this person seems to enjoy my company and I should be great. Your attitude is completely different, and how you would act and react in a relationship. That's why what we think is so powerful. And some people have a defeatist attitude. And eventually, the loving, nurturing people love themselves enough to move away, because maybe some of the people they were in a relationship with kind of love themselves most of all, don't want to really work cooperatively with other people. They love themselves and they want other people to love them. And it's all about them. Or they love money and materialism and status and image. And the high vibe people are like, I'm leaving. And they didn't see that coming. And then for some of the people that have already left, you're doing this work within yourself to be this stable, grounded, nurturing, loving person. The King of Pentacles, you could be getting new jobs. But it also, the King of Pentacles can be, doesn't matter, male or female. You present yourself in the world authentically who you say you are. High vibe Leo, high vibe Capricorn, high vibe Virgo. Who you present yourself in the world is who you really are. You really are like a nurturing, stable, grounded, loving, emotionally mature person. And you're going out there in the world and you might get new jobs and you might get in new relationships and a new marriage. And they did not see that coming. Because some of them thought, maybe I did all this stuff to hurt you, and I bet you'll be down here and you'll be in defeatist like me, and you'll take action more out of pride and ego and fear and insecurity like me. And you had that choice. You went through that phase and you decided to pick yourself back up again. I am not going to give up on my dreams because there's unkind people in the world. I'm just going to let go of the unkind people. And I'm going to keep believing in my dreams. Another thing they might not see coming, if some of those people went and got in another relationship, the other person might be leaving. Because if some of these people are kind of worldly and shadowy, not very authentic, not very warm and loving and giving, and some other people might decide to leave them, and they don't see that coming. And basically, as long as they keep repeating these poor past patterns or have it in their head that people are always going to leave them, people are always going to leave them. Because they'll make sure it happens, because we prove ourselves true. And as long as these people don't deal with some of their past pain and heartbreak to free themselves from it, they're going to be triggered to repeat some undesirable patterns in a relationship that will make people want to leave. They might get in a relationship, though, with someone like themselves. That would be a just and fair relationship. It's unjust for someone to try to present themselves and create an illusion that they're on the same page as some other people. But that's really not the truth of who they are, but they try to hide it. That's probably not going to work out because other people are going to listen to their intuition and eventually they're going to probably walk away. What would be just and fair is for them to be in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. Someone else who loves the world. The Lover's card is Gemini energy. Gemini is a dualistic sign. In my free will, am I going to work with my more loving, intuitive nature to guide my decisions? And that's what I think I should align with in my free will to manifest my dreams into reality? Or is my truth, no, not that. I'm going to probably not listen to my intuition because I get hurt doing that. That would be love, and I get hurt doing love. And I'm going to make my life more about me or these things I want to indulge in, or money or materialism. And for some people, they could think like, oh my gosh, like this would be my dream come true. Because I really didn't want to do love, but there could be people I love, but I let them go. Because I'm really sure this is the most important thing. But they might be in a relationship with someone who has their own unhealed wounds that make them act in their own ways of being in the world. Could be the same as theirs or just different. And nobody's willing to do the work to heal or grow a baby or mature themselves. So it is all about the status and the ego and the image, and shadowy Pisces energy can be creating an illusion of what a wonderful life it is. Some people are just creating the illusion that they're willing to get in a more formal commitment with someone, but that may never happen. Other people will maybe marry someone, and at some future point they might want to leave, but they might stay in it because of the money and the status and the image that is so important to them. And we all have our free will. What do we want to make our life about? And for them, the most important thing is to say I had a certain status and image or wealth or something. But I don't think it's not because of love, except for the love of those things or fear for the things of the world. And other people are going, high vibe energy is like going on this journey of life with the Discovery card. You keep shedding layers and layers of yourself, and relationships keep growing and maturing over time because everybody's willing to shed these layers of themselves and work through these layers that, So high vibe people take bad situations and they use it for their own good benefit. What lesson did I learn from that? What people did I learn to stay away from and not invest my time, energy, and effort into anymore? And who are the people, now that I have learned to love and respect myself and maintain better balance within myself and believe in myself? I can't wait to see what God has coming for me. To get to discover all these things in life when I'm not focused being in a relationship with someone who's maybe trying to overwhelm me. It's like you create your little hell on earth or fake superficial life with someone else. I'm going to go be in high vibe Leo energy with people who are authentic and warm and loving and just enjoy my day. So there you go, Leo energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.